Welcome to FinSight's Wealthier Way, brought to you by Finvesting. This is your go to podcast for decoding financial jargons, breaking down market movements, and simplifying wealth building strategies for everyday investors like you. Whether you are planning your first SIP, navigating market volatility, or dreaming of early retirement, we are here to guide you with actionable insights, minus the jargons. I am Narendran, your host and founder of Finvestin, and I believe financial wisdom should be accessible to everyone, not just the experts. So, plug in and power up your financial journey because wealth isn't just about how much you have, it's about how smartly you grow it. Quick reminder, play this episode at 1.5x for a better experience if you're short on time. Today, we are delving into something that's been making headlines and probably brightening up your family lockers gold. With prices recently shattering the 1 lakh rupee barrier and analysts projecting a possible climb up to 1.2 lakh in the near future. Those heirloom pieces might be worth more than just sentimental value. But is this glittering trajectory sustainable? And more importantly, how does this affect those traditional gold ornaments that Indian households have cherished for generations? Let's uncover whether your grandmother's wisdom about gold being the ultimate security still holds true in today's volatile economic landscape. Before we dive deep, let's gauge what's happening in the precious metals market. Gold has recently breached the psychological barrier of 1 lakh rupees, sending ripples through investment circles worldwide. The remarkable aspect, it witnessed an astonishing 59% appreciation since March 2024, a trajectory rarely seen in traditional asset classes. This meteoric rise hasn't materialized out of thin air. Global uncertainties, geopolitical tensions, and significant policy shifts across major economies have driven investors towards this safe haven. However, I must caution some market analysts are predicting a potential correction of up to 40%, especially as former President Trump recalibrates his stance on Chinese tariffs. Remember the Liberation Day announcement that sent markets into a frenzy? Well, its after effects continue to reverberate through commodity markets, with gold being no exception. Let's pivot to something more relatable, the unique relationship between Indian households and gold ornaments. For centuries, our culture has intertwined financial security with these precious adornments. While the Western world might view jewelry primarily as decorative, Indian families have ingeniously transformed them into versatile financial instruments. Think about it. When a family member needs urgent medical treatment or when educational aspirations require substantial funding, what's the first asset mobilized? Invariably, it's those carefully preserved gold pieces that transition from ornamental to functional within hours. However, this convenience comes with its nuances, particularly regarding taxation. The fiscal implications of gold jewelry transactions are multifaceted and warrant careful consideration. Here's something crucial that many aren't aware of. Gold wasn't always subject to stringent taxation. Prior to the introduction of specific provisions in the Income Tax Act, gold enjoyed significant tax advantages. However, over time, government has progressively tightened regulations, culminating in the latest changes introduced in the Finance Act of 2024 that took effect in July 23rd last year, removing several benefits of gold investors previously enjoyed. Under Indian tax regulations, your precious ornaments aren't just beautiful possessions. They are capital assets with specific tax obligations. Selling these assets trigger capital gains taxation with the duration of ownership determining the applicable tax structure. For pieces disposed of within 24 months of acquisition, the gains fall under short-term capital gain tax. This means profits are added to your regular income and taxed as per your existing income tax bracket. For those in the highest slab, that's a substantial 30% of your profits heading straight to the exchequer. Hold your gold for longer than 24 months, you enter into LTCG, that is long term capital gains territory. The government has established a flat 12.5% tax rate on such gains, eliminating the previously available indexation benefit post July 23rd. Additionally, a 4% health and education cess applies to this tax amount, slightly increasing your overall liability. Let me explain with an example. Say Rajesh purchased gold jewelry worth of 3 lakhs in 2020 and sells it in 2025 for 6 lakhs. Since he held it for more than 24 months, this qualifies as long-term capital gains. Under the new rules, he would pay 12.5% on the 3 lakhs gain, which comes to around 37,500 plus a 4% cess of 1,500, totaling 39,000 in taxes. Previously, he would have benefited from indexation, which would have adjusted the purchase cost for inflation, significantly reducing his taxable gains. For instance, with an appropriate indexation factor, his indexed cost might have been around 4 lakhs, making his taxable gain only 2 lakhs instead of 3 lakhs. This removal of indexation benefits represents a substantial loss of tax advantage for long term gold investors. Here's something many overlook: that common practice of exchanging old gold ornaments for contemporary designs at your new jeweler. From a taxation perspective, this constitutes a sell transaction. If the current value exceeds your original purchase price, the difference is taxable as capital gains. GST implications can't be ignored. When purchasing new gold items, expect to pay 3% GST on the value plus an additional 5% on making charges. Maintaining comprehensive purchase records is not just good practice, it's essential for accurate capital gains calculations and regulatory compliance. Let's shift focus to another practical aspect of gold loans, which have seen remarkable growth recently. Financial experts attribute this expansion to economic headwinds that have prompted households to leverage their dormant gold assets for liquidity. What's fascinating is how financial technology has democratized access to those secured loans. Digital lenders have extended their reach beyond metropolitan centers into smaller towns and semi urban areas, making gold backed financing more accessible than ever before. The RBI has introduced significant regulatory adjustments in this space. Notably, lenders are now prohibited from accepting certain gold assets as collateral, specifically gold bars, silver items, and financial instruments like gold ETFs and gold mutual funds. Instead, only traditional jewelry and bank issued gold coins limited to 550 grams per borrower qualify as acceptable security. Ownership verification has also become more stringent. Lenders must thoroughly confirm that borrowers legitimately possess the pledged items. Without original purchase documentation, borrowers must provide detailed declarations explaining how they acquired the gold, enhancing transparency and reducing fraudulent borrowing. Another critical regulation prevents using identical gold items to secure multiple loans simultaneously. This prudent measure prevents excessive leverage and minimizes default risk. Additionally, the purpose of gold loans has been streamlined. Borrowers can't simultaneously use the same loan for both consumption and income generating activities. Financial institutions are now mandated to monitor the utilization of disbursed funds, ensuring they are employed for declared purposes. This oversight reduces misappropriation risks and strengthens the overall lending ecosystem. Valuation methodologies have also been standardized. The RBI has emphasized consistent approaches for accessing purity and weight, promoting uniformity across lending institutions. This standardization ensures borrowers receive fair valuations irrespective of which bank or NBFCs they approach. The loan to value ratio remains capped at 75%, meaning borrowers can access funding equivalent to three quarters of their gold's assessed value. While this might seem restrictive, it provides essential protection against market volatility and potential defaults. Record keeping requirements have been enhanced. with lenders obligated to maintain comprehensive documentation of collateral verification and transaction details. These measures apply uniformly across all financial institutions, from commercial banks to NBFCs, cooperative banks, and regional rural banks alike. Despite gold's impressive price trajectory, it's worth noting that domestic jewelry demand has remained remarkably stable at approximately 600 tons annually over the past 3 years. Simultaneously, we have witnessed an exponential surge in gold ETF investments, from a modest 460 crore in 2022 to an impressive 9,225 crores in 2024. This divergence suggests an evolutionary shift in India's gold investment preferences. While our cultural affinity for the precious metal remains unwavering, we are increasingly sophisticated about the vehicles through which we gain exposure to it. When evaluating gold jewelry as an investment, we must factor in several elements that erode returns: design premiums, making charges, and substantial discounts when reselling. These factors can significantly diminish the actual yield compared to the headline price appreciation. As we wrap up, let's crystallize the key insights about gold jewelry as an asset class. Fundamentally, gold ornaments occupy an unique position in India's portfolio. They function simultaneously as adornment, cultural signifier, and a financial safety net. This versatility has sustained their relevance through generation despite modernization. However, traditional jewelry comes with inherent inefficiencies from an investment perspective. Fabrication costs, storage concerns, purity variations, and increasingly complex tax implications, especially with the elimination of indexation benefits. The emergence of financial instruments like gold ETF addresses many of these drawbacks while maintaining exposure to gold's price movements. The ideal approach likely combines pragmatism with tradition. Maintain some physical gold holdings for cultural significance and liquidity during unforeseen circumstances. But consider channeling pure investment allocations toward more efficient instruments like gold ETFs. Remember that financial decisions should harmonize with both economic objectives and personal values. In a culture where gold transcends mere investment to embody tradition and security, finding this balance becomes particularly meaningful. That concludes our deep dive into gold jewelry as an asset class during these extraordinary times. If you found value in today's analysis, please subscribe to Wealth Your Way. We are available across major streaming platforms including Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Google Podcasts. That brings us to the end of today's episode of Wealth Your Way by Finsights. We hope this information helps you move one step closer to defining and achieving your unique version of financial success. If today's episode got you thinking about your own rich life and how to achieve it, why not take the first step with Finvestin? Whether you are looking to optimize your savings, plan for your retirement, or make smarter investment decisions, we can help you create a personalized financial roadmap. Visit finvestin.com or drop a message on WhatsApp at 799 555 to schedule a free consultation. Let's turn your financial goals into a reality. This is your host, Naren, signing off. Until next time, remember that wealth isn't just about money, it's about creating the freedom to live your life on your own terms.